The 74th games took place in a wooded area primarily, and during those games we meet Katniss, Peeta, Cato, Foxface, and Rue, among others. But a year before that, all of these tributes from their respective districts watched as 24 misfortunate children were reaped from across all of Panem, and eventually thrust into a crumbling cityscape that would serve as the stage for the 73rd Annual Hunger Games. I'm Leroy, and I make Hunger Games content, so if you're a Hunger Games fan, then you should subscribe because it's free and you'll be glad you did. Now let's go ahead and dive into the video. We first hear about the 73rd games when Katniss and Peeta are freshly reaped and riding the train to the capital, and Katniss is watching the footage of these games, and Claudius Templesmith and Caesar Flickerman are commentating on these games. Caesar states that this is one of his favorite games and one of his favorite arenas. The use of the rubble and the ruined city were very exciting for him. In the brief clip, what we get to see is the climactic ending of the games, and we witness the unnamed male tribute from District 2 bludgeoning the male tribute from District 10 to death using a brick. Caesar says that this is the moment you never forget, the moment a tribute becomes a victor. Katniss, unnerved, turns off the video footage. Effie Trinket was the escort for the District 12 tributes for these games, and both of these tributes had been from the Seam, the most impoverished area of District 12. Both the male and female were likely weak and potentially emaciated, as Katniss stated that they'd never had a decent meal in their lives. The tributes are never mentioned by name, but it's highly possible that Katniss knew one or both of them prior to them being reaped. Effie mentions that these two tributes had poor table manners and that they ate like savages. These complaints draw ire from Katniss. During the Caesar Flickerman tribute interviews, Caesar's hair and makeup were both crimson red, making it look as though he was bleeding. In the arena, the tributes wore black cargo pants and armored vests, with different colored jackets corresponding to different districts, and these colors carry on over from the 73rd games to the 74th as well, with red being for District 2 and grayish-brown for District 10, as we see in the game footage. Interestingly, these games would have also been Seneca Crane's second year as the head game maker, helping to craft a memorable Hunger Games that some Capitol citizens even praised. In an earlier version of the script, the world opens up even more with all sorts of revelations. The 73rd games took place in a ruined city, which was said to be Aspen, Colorado, 300 years from the present day. What happened to the city to leave it in such a state? Did other major cities across the US and North America also suffer a similar fate? The male tribute from 12 was named Sage Blanken, and his parents, Corinna and Tigard Blanken, were vendors at the Hob. The District 12 female was killed sometime on the first day, and, most fascinating, the cornucopia bloodbath happened on the second day, with at least 8 tributes showing up. The male tribute from District 3 was named Prospero, and he, along with several other unnamed tributes, participated in the games, and a variety of weapons were also made available for these games, including, but not limited to, knives, maces, spears, whips, and bows and arrows. Sage Blanken runs through the ruined city that is abandoned and overgrown with foliage. There are bodies to his right and to his left just laying in the street. He runs, attempting to dodge death, narrowly being missed by arrows someone is shooting at him. He turns a corner, heart rate spiking, when someone hurls a knife out of nowhere. It buries itself in his arm, and doing his best to ignore the searing pain, he pushes forward, his eyes frantically darting around, scanning for a place to hide that's safe. A tribute on the second floor of a building throws a spear down at him, and Sage dives out of the way, but landing on his wounded arm, the pain is unbearable. Sage gets to his feet, and behind him he hears voices saying, "Get him!" implying that others in an alliance are working against him as a group. Just as he reaches what he believes is safety, he turns around to come face to face with a muscular 17-year-old boy, who immediately swings his spiked mace directly at Sage's head. Sage's POV immediately stops, and all of a sudden we're back in the bleak town square of District 12, where 2,000 townspeople have just watched live what has just transpired. The voice of Claudius Templesmith can be heard throughout the broadcast. "Oh, that's too bad. Sage Blanken goes down, knocked out by that Prospero boy from District 3, who certainly is handy with a mace. Once again, both tributes from District 12 are out, but at least they got into Day 2 this year. Up on the screen, the games continue, and we see a female tribute dart across another overgrown street. A whip lashes out at her, trying to trip her, but she bounds over it. Back in the town square, Sage Blanken, the mother of Sage Blanken, is stunned, her face white with grief. She begins wailing and shrieking from agony. Her neighbors lead the shell-shocked woman away. Gale tells Katniss that he thinks that the male tribute from District 2 is going to win, and later, during the tribute interviews, Caesar mentions to Cato that the 72nd and the 73rd games were both won by District 2 tributes. First place went to the unnamed male tribute from District 2, and second place went to the male tribute from District 10. These games are the last one to end with a single victor, and also the last official victory by a career tribute. The 73rd games are so close, yet so far, with precious little information available for us to mull over. But with the 50th Quarter Quell being revisited in all its glory in the new book that's coming out, perhaps it's not totally delusional to hope for more games to be touched on directly, including the 73rd Hunger Games, the next door neighbor to Katniss' 74th. What tidbit of info did you find most interesting in this video? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, then drop a like. And if you're a Hunger Games fan like me, then of course be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.